First item on is open meeting is prayer and the pledge.
Lord, assisted by Holy Spirit of counsel, all those who are serving in authority and responsibility. I believe to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is open forum pursuant to Public Law 42-46-6D. Is there anyone? Roll call, please.
Bottomoli? Here. Mrs. O'Hara? Here. Mr. Ogier?
Here.
Mr. Tursky?
Here.
Mr. Wagner?
Here. Now the next item is open forum pursuant to Public Law 42-46-6D. Anyone wishing to speak has the opportunity to come up to the podium, state your name and your address, and try to limit it to 2 to 3 minutes. If it's a larger topic, we can put on an agenda and address it at another date. So would anyone like to come up under the open forum?
Am I the only one that signed up for this?
Yes.
I stand before you today as a taxpayer and not as a town councilwoman. I have owned property in this town since 1976. Some of you weren't even born. My grandmother's house was built, and I visited where the beef barn is. My father and my uncle were reared in this town, as my cousins were. I stand before you today because I love this town. We have people that volunteer their time for different committees, which I think is wonderful. But at the same time, I feel that we have put forth zoning laws for the betterment of the town, of this town. But I feel they have not been enforced for all too long. If we are going to have laws, they should be enforced. If they're not going to be enforced, why have them? Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Most of the times they're not. And many of them are based on laws that affect the environment as well. I ask all those who participate in any committee, if it is a planning board, once you've gone over any type of application someone has, and you're not sure about any zoning laws that affect them, please bring it to the zoning board. Let them look over these laws. Because down the road, they're being omitted, and it's wrong. And then when you come to the town council, we assume these laws have been reviewed. And all too many times they haven't. And it'll come to the point where it's been so long, we may not have any power to rectify mistakes. And people applying for different applications go through a lot of expense. With fees, lawyers, etc. They can only consume what we tell them. And if we do not know, it is our obligation to clarify this. If I were to go around this town today, we could be very rich people and zoning was enforced. Trust me. So I ask you all, if you think there are people who are not applying for permits, and I don't want to be a squealer, it's not a squealer. It's helping us maintain rules and regulations within our town. And I feel truly it is important.
No one else?
What was that?
You walk better than I do.
No, trust me, this goes to sleep and that's the end of that tune. My name is Richard Anez. I've been before the council before, and I agree with everything you say. The town has ordinances, and they're supposed to be followed. It's not, you're my friend, I'll do you a favor. I don't want to hear that. You go by the ordinances, like my dad said, they can never come back and bite you in the butt. All right? Some of you might know my father. He was in politics in North Smithfield for a long time. Louis Anez. You know, I looked at this proposal, okay, that's been submitted, and it seems to me like you're trying to squeeze, not you folks, but you're trying to squeeze two things into one proposal. You want a business highway, and at the same time you want to put a driveway in, or you want an exception to put a road in, just on 25 feet. How's that? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you gotta get up to that mic.
That's better? Good. The zoning, as it is now, I'm sorry, if you've got clean hands, okay, then you can consider something. I think all of you are probably aware of what the existing business highway is at the present time. I've lived there for over 45 years. There are some, I'm a lay person, but I can go down there and I can pick out half a dozen violations right now. You want to move that closer to me? No. But I don't see any town people, inspectors or whatever, doing their due diligence and going down there and checking out what's happening now. If you can't check it out, what good are you? You're not here to just pick up a paycheck. Get the guys down there and have them inspect the place and see if everything is coming up roses. Now, I'm part of the Carlton Avenue group, that I don't see why someone is even asking, okay, even asking for some kind of special exemption when you only go 21 feet. 21 feet doesn't give you squat. I mean, you've got access to 102. That's what the ordinance says. You've got access to 102. If it was a hardship, I could see reviewing it and maybe taking a look at it, but there's no hardship. Nothing's, if any of you have gone down Carlton Avenue, you'll see where trees are cut, stumps pulled, okay, no permit, and then we do a little imaginative grading. Well, now it's all washing out. You know where it's washing out to, folks? My property. So I'd also ask you folks to see if you can't do something about preventing the washout. There's a cul-de-sac down there, not even a cul-de-sac down there.
You know, Mr. Arnez, if I may interrupt you, there will be a public hearing on that,
Okay,
and you're more than welcome to speak on that
fine.
at that time.
Yeah. I thought we were going to review that in the proposal tonight.
That's what I'm saying, and so there'll be a public hearing,
Okay.
and you'll be able to speak.
This will be another time?
It's tonight, but
It'll be tonight? Oh. Well, what am I doing up here now then? It's time, I'm hungry.
But it's not on the record, Mr. President. I think the gentleman should be aware that the record being created for the public hearing, he's not part of it right now. That if he wants it to be part of the record, he should wait for the public hearing that's going to be in a few minutes.
Okay, fine, that's fine with me. But I guess we're all done for the time being? Okay, see, it's off easy.
Next item on the agenda, I'm going to ask the council to waive the rules and move up. Item number 5, presentation of certificates to Citizens Police Academy graduates. Chief Reynolds?
Thank you, Mr. President, and members of the Town Council for allowing us to come before you today. I want to call upon Lieutenant Greg Landry, who will explain the Citizens Academy to you, and we will present certificates to the graduates from our latest Citizens Academy. Lieutenant Landry.
Good evening, everybody. So for those of you who don't know about the Citizens Police Academy, it's a 10-week program that the North Smithfield Police Department implemented. It's comprised of members of our community who took an interest in learning certain aspects of what it is that the police do. Certain things such as BCI, accident reconstruction, processing crime scenes, as well as car stops, and many other aspects of our job. So first and foremost, I'd like to congratulate the North Smithfield Citizens Police Academy Class 2018-2 on their successful completion of the program. Good job. However, I have to admit, when Captain Richatelli asked me months ago if I'd be interested in helping oversee the academy, I was a little bit hesitant because I don't have too much time. But I'm glad I did it. Just like many of you, I'm busy. All of you are busy as well. I'm glad I did it because it allowed me to meet 12 exceptional individuals. So I personally want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule every single Tuesday night for the past 10 weeks to participate in our program. Thank you for your interest in learning what it is that we do. Thank you for listening to our stories. We certainly enjoyed all of your stories and your experiences with us. It's been a very interesting 10 weeks. We've had a lot of laughs, braved the cold weather during motor vehicle stops. It was a pretty brutal night. We had many in-depth conversations, but most importantly, we formed a connection with citizens. We formed a bond with citizens to the police department. So, you know, it's often understated how important the role citizens play in the apprehension of criminals. Many of our arrests are made with the help of eyewitnesses who are ordinary folks just going about their daily business, just happen to witness a crime, just like all of you, everyone in this room. So the point I'm trying to make is that it's known that police are important to a community, but what's not so well known is how important a community is to a police department. So we need you just as much as you need us. So at this time, when I call your name, I'd like you to come up. Chief Reynolds will hand you your certificate. Captain Lafferty will also hand you a challenge coin. And Patrolman Murray, you all know from the class, would just like to shake your hand. All right, so first, Anna Cameron, please come up. Cheryl DiCristofaro. Nicholas DiCristofaro. Cynthia De Jesus. Wendy Todd Feast. Second generation member of Police Academy, Citizens Academy. Caroline Marshall. Scott Marshall. Stephanie Porter. Jeffrey Porter. Jean Paul Rondo. Brandon Uralowicz. And that concludes the presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you, folks.
Next item is ceremonial swearing in of two North Smithfield police officers, Officer Michael Akinrola and Joshua Guertin.
Mr. President, if I could just add to what Lieutenant Landry was saying about cooperation and assistance from our citizens. Just within the last few days, we had an arrest made regarding some thefts into a number of vehicles over the past week or two. And it was a call that we had received from a citizen who had observed an individual that fit the description. So it's just one small example of how much our citizens do help us. At this time, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you our two newest members of the North Smithfield Police Department. Officer Joshua Guertin, will be badge number 16, and Officer Michael Akinrola, will be badge number 18. The town administrator will administer the oath, and at the conclusion of that, Officer Guertin will be pinned by his fiancée, Renee Newton, and Officer Akinrola will be pinned by his mother, Donna Kadir. Mr. Administrator.
Gentlemen, raise your right hand. Just affirm by saying I do at the end. I do solemnly swear that I will be true and faithful to the state of Rhode Island and the town of North Smithfield. I shall support and enforce the laws of the state and town and the Constitution of the United States. I shall perform the duties and execute the policies and the rules and regulations of the North Smithfield Police Department. So help me God. Thank you.
Renee and Donna.
our congratulations to all of the Academy members as well as our two new officers, and we wish them the best. Thank you, Chief. Next item, North Smithfield Town Council sitting as a Board of License Commissioners. Letter A, St. Andre Bessette Council 15829. Location is 79 St. Paul Street. F1 liquor license for January 26, 2019. Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. President, as this is an annual event and we have the checklist of official uses approved by the building inspection, fire marshal, and tax collector, I will make a motion to approve the F1 liquor license of St. Andre Bessette Council 15829 for location 79 St. Paul Street for January 26, 2019. And also F1 liquor license from March 16, 2019.
Heard the motion and the second by Mrs. O'Hara. Any other discussion? Roll call vote?
Mrs. Bottomoli? Yes. Mrs. O'Hara? Yes. Mr. Oshia?
Yes.
Mr. Smolenski?
Yes.
Mr. Vadney,
Yes. Sorry. Before we go any further, there's a Ford Edge license plate MW419 that needs to be moved. 491, I'm sorry. It needs to be moved. It could be going out there right now, but it's blocking the dumpster. It needs to be moved.